Are you someone who sleeps very late? And when I mean late, I'm talking like 2, 3 a.m. and wake up 2 p.m. or something? Because if you do that, this video's for you. So I used to be someone who used to sleep really late, sometimes 4 a.m., and I would wake up like 2 p.m. and I'd feel horrible. And honestly, I thought it was like something like I couldn't do anything about. So what happened to me was I realized like I want to wake up earlier. And how you're going to wake up earlier is simply by sleeping earlier. So it might be really hard to just shift a few hours back. So if you do sleep around 2 a.m., it's going to be kind of hard to fall asleep 3 hours earlier. So you're probably going to have to move by a half hour, by 20 minutes, or minute by minute, or whatever. So every day you would sleep 5, 10 minutes earlier or whatnot, or a half hour. That's the thing I did. So you can start out by going from 2 a.m. to 1:55 a.m. and every day knock down 5 minutes. And every week it would be 30 minutes, and that's significant. Because if you're like me, you're like, I'll just sleep earlier, wake up earlier. If you could do that, great. But most people are going to struggle with that and eventually they'll fall back to those old sleeping habits. It's kind of like if you stop eating candy, eventually your body would really want it. So the best thing to do is to slowly break away. Thing is that with time, everything gets better, and we have to realize that. So my biggest thing was slowly and slowly doing it. And how I recommend is you either go as slow as a minute a day, sleep 1 minute earlier every day. I mean, after 60 days, 2 months, that's an hour. You could do 2 minutes, 3 minutes every day. You wouldn't feel it, and you would also wake up a few minutes earlier every day. You could go by a few minutes a day, or you can just jump in like 20, 30 minutes. Now, the other thing you're going to need is an intention and the mentality. So now that you know what to do, right? You know to sleep early, wake up early, and you know that depending on your body type, right? A few minutes if you're someone very sensitive to sleep, or maybe you jump in 15 minutes and whatnot. It will definitely take time, and if you want to, kick off 10, 15 minutes, do that for a few days. Try to aim at maybe changing your sleep schedule permanently by 20 minutes. So by sleeping 20 minutes earlier and 20 minutes earlier you wake up. So if you're someone who's waking up at 2 p.m., sleeping at whatever 3, 4, try to go 20 minutes a week. That's the goal. Try to average waking up 20 minutes earlier every week. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, that's what you're going to do. But the mentality, though, of what I had was I told myself I don't want to wake up 2 p.m., right? I don't want to do that, right? And I told myself, like, I want to get up earlier so I could, have a more fulfilling breakfast, have food at the right time, and so I could fix my schedule, right? So everything works for me. And I used to think like, oh man, if I go on a vacation, how am I gonna enjoy it, right? Like if I'm waking up late. So I told myself like if I'm gonna do things, I gotta get up early, right? I gotta do that. And what I did was I put that in my mind and I started to make changes. So there was a reason for me to wake up. So then I'm like, okay, cool. Over time, I did what I did and I changed. And then I started getting to the point where I was at 12 p.m., right? So I was up technically in the afternoon, which isn't as terrible, but I'm guaranteeing you that a lot of people do, what I want to say, they do struggle eventually once they make changes. A few months down the road, you make some changes. Um, what you're going to want to do then is stay consistent and to slowly move. So if you did, maybe it's been 3 months and you're waking up 2 hours already earlier. So if you went from 2 p.m. to 12 p.m., right in the afternoon, you're probably gonna have a point where it gets difficult. And from there on, you're gonna have to take it slow and try to keep that sleep times the same. You'll probably have days where you actually get up earlier, and you have days where you probably want to just stay in bed past 12 p.m. And those are the times where you're gonna have to stay consistent and to keep going further. But obviously, you want to slow it down as well. So it's all about just going with the flow and the way your body works because everybody has a different body. So obviously, if you're someone who's up at, you're someone who's, like for me when I made the change, like a 2 hour difference, I told myself like, why should I wake up earlier? And what I did was I realized that I want to watch The Price is Right. It starts at 11 a.m. It stops at 12. So I'm like, okay, I gotta get up earlier, right? Like I want to watch with my dad. I put another thing in my mind so that I have a reason to wake up, and that reason is simple: wake up at 11 a.m. now. So I started to do that. Then, and again, I started to sleep earlier. So then I started averaging a 1 a.m. sleep time instead of 3 or 4 in the morning. I started averaging a 1 a.m. sleep time. 1 a.m. to 11 a.m. And yes, it sounds like a lot of sleep, but again, it's trouble sleep because I'm making changes. You gotta push through it, it's tough. From there on, I'm up at 11, I'm like, I gotta eat something. And the thing is that I'm like, I gotta get up earlier because I want to eat breakfast earlier, right? So I kept having something in my head, until now it's like I sleep at midnight and I'm up at 9 a.m. So it's a 9 hour sleep, which is fine, and that's a 15-hour day, and it's good. So that's where I moved on right now. And for me, some people might say that's still late and whatnot, but it is what it is. I do what I like. I like to stay up late, and that's just me. Everybody's different. Everybody's gonna have a different sleep schedule. Some people like being up super early in the morning. Some people like to wake up with the light and go to sleep when it's dark, whatever. Everybody's different. So for me, it's all about just having an intention. That's what really motivated me because I wanted to really wake up earlier so I could watch the morning shows, or I wanted to get up earlier so I could eat breakfast with my family or something, right? Or spend time with loved ones or take that time to work on something. See, the thing is that there's got to be a reason why you do something, and there's got to be a reason why. And that reason's got to be really clear and strong. It could be not a really good reason, right? Like most people will say, okay, you started waking up a little earlier because of a TV show. That's something. It doesn't matter. Everybody has something. Everybody needs something, right? Everybody's got to have a reason why they wake up. There's got to be some sort of reason that motivates them to wake up. So from that 4 a.m. to 2 p.m., it went down to midnight to 9 a.m. And that is huge. So I'm averaging a 5 hour earlier wake up, which is a big deal. That, of course, took me a year, just saying, or so, maybe more, honestly. Um, and that's because when you got a really bad sleep schedule, and it's crazy. But that's impressive. And for me, I might even change it a little more. But like I was saying, everybody's different. Everybody has to figure themselves out. And I do think this video is super helpful because a lot of people will struggle with sleep. They will eventually, after a few months, want to go back to that sleep schedule. They won't want to wake up early, or they forget why they want to wake up early. So if you really want to do this, you're going to have to do a few things. You're going to have to have an intention, have a plan. What's the reason? Why do you want to do it? And you got to get motivated. Anything, right? Any reason why you want to wake up early, gotta find a reason to wake up early. You gotta find a reason to work at a job, a reason to keep working, a reason to keep making money, a reason for this, a reason for that. And that's gonna motivate yourself and push you to do whatever it is. Thank you all for watching. Get some sleep.